Hey, this is Grady at Violite, and today we're going to be talking about direct versus indirect light and its effect on UVC technology. Anyone who goes to the beach understands that you can't get tan if you're sitting in the shade. That's because UV energy cannot bend around corners and it cannot go through objects. We also know that in the winter we don't get as easily burned as we do in the summer. That's because in the winter the sun hits the earth because of its tilt at a low angle. Therefore, the sun's energy has low intensity. But when we switch over to the summer, the sunlight hits us at a higher angle, and therefore it has a higher intensity. Basically, it's more perpendicular. This all happens despite the fact that in the summer, the sun is 94.5 million miles from the Earth, and in the winter it's 91.5 million miles. That's a 3 million mile difference. So being perpendicular has much more to do with intensity than distance. So what does that mean for us when it comes to UVC technology? Well, just like getting a sunburn, the surfaces that are more perpendicular to the rays of the sun will burn more intensely. And the surfaces more parallel to the sun's rays will have a gradient of that same sunburn. So how does this relate to UVC technology? Well, in our experiments, as we sent our energy towards our cards, the ones that were set up more perpendicular would receive the energy more directly, and the parallel cards would have it graze right on over it. So the perpendicular cards received 100 joules of energy, strong enough to kill most viruses and bacteria, while the parallel cards oftentimes didn't even make it to the 50 joules of energy, despite how long we left the lamps on. So what we learned today with direct versus indirect light is it doesn't really matter what size of a lamp or how many lamps you have running in a room or how big or small the room even is. What truly matters is, are the surfaces perpendicular or parallel to the lamp itself. And even if you have multiple lamps and you position them in multiple places, if you get shadows or indirect light, you are not going to be effective. If you think of the UV lights in a tanning booth, think of them surrounding you completely, lifting your arms and turning around to get a nice even tan. If you do the same thing with UVC technology, germs and bacteria don't stand a chance. Thanks for listening.